Scotch. I have spent the last few years traveling the world and writing about my favorite elixir, whiskey. This show is all about the brands, the spirits, and the distilleries you know and love. Join us as we share our stories and our words of whiskey. Welcome back to episode 4. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm again in the studio with special guest, Junior Wakefield of the Junior Wakefield Show.
Appreciate it.
Trainer, chef extraordinaire. He has brought me another bottle to share with him. It is the Glenfiddich 15, the Salerno 15. I love Glenfiddich. It's a great distillery.
Oh, it's awesome.
Tell me your favorite part about Glenfiddich.
One of the things, history has a lot to do with it, for one. And when you talked about the Salerno method, I always think it's interesting, the history of them putting alcohol and keeping it in the same container and just adding to it. And I'm thinking, well, you're no matter what you get, you're going to get a little bit more history out of it also. So I like that history part of it. But when it comes to Glenfiddich, if you've had the 12, if you've had the 18, the 15 to me is a little bit different. To me, it's a little bit more smoother than the 12. To me, it's a little bit more smooth than the 18.
Yeah.
And to me, it's kind of a favorite of mine because it's just simple. It's what, to me, it defines what a single malt Scotch is.
Yeah.
And that's just me, though.
So I got the privilege of getting to go up to Scotland when I was doing my writing for the Dallas Morning News, to go up to Scotland and to tour their facility.
Oh, that's incredible.
I got to go in back and make my own blend of Glenfiddich, and I'll have a little small bottle that's a one of a kind.
Oh, that's awesome.
Josh Hart Glenfiddich. But they were taking me around to the tunes. A part of their tour, if you ever get to go, is they're going to talk to you about, the history of basically, they called them copper dogs, and they were little pens that people would keep in their pockets. So all of these distillers had a little golden or a copper pen that they would take out. They could extend it, dip it into a barrel, pull it out, and it was a shot of basically a barrel.
Oh,
and they could take a shot. So they're kind of going through all the ways that people would steal, and everyone kind of knew about it, but whatever. I'm not gonna say anything. Well, one day, one of those, like you're saying, the Salerno method, where they just keep pouring in. One of those vats broke, and so it's a giant wooden. If you see it, it's humongous, but there's a giant vat broke. They had to drain it entirely out for the first time in the history of it. They had to drain it out. And they saw a small copper pinhole in the bottom of the vat. Well, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
And so they started kind of looking for leaks and cracks, and they didn't see anything. It was on there pretty well. And come to find out, one of the guys who helped install it happened to live close by, a couple hundred yards away. So he installed a copper pipe under that vat that ran all the way underground to his house, where he had it on a spigot that he could run out by a pole in the backyard. He could just turn on a water hose.
Yes.
And get pure vat strength Glenfiddich. And it had been 30 years.
That's incredible.
And so they were like, we're not even mad. We're not mad. Ingenious. You, from what we can tell, you haven't tried to bottle it and sell it or anything. You're just only for personal use. We're not mad.
That's incredible.
Only thing we're going to ask you to do, instead of filing suit and charges and taking everything from you and getting a bad name in the community, when you sell your house, you have to sell it to us.
That's pretty awesome.
We'll pay market value for it, but you have to sell it to us. So they're going to turn it into part of their tour.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
So they did put a filtration system so he couldn't push anything back through. But they even left it open for him, so he can still turn it on and off whenever he wants, and get it. So
that's the life.
Yeah,
that's
and you have Glenfiddich on tap in your backyard.
In your backyard.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine the get-togethers and the parties and so forth?
Yeah. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah,
come on over here.
Come over here. Just try this little bit of this.
Yeah. So that is it. But yeah, the blending, that was always the kind of the cool thing for me. So even though it's still single malts, even though they're blending several
Hmm.
different vats together, because it all comes from
Hmm.
the same distiller. So it's all still Glenfiddich. They're not getting it from other places, which would make it then a blend.
Hmm.
But they go through and they make it that way. I find that Glenfiddich, you're right, is a very much an intro. I think Glenfiddich 18 was my very first Scotch ever.
Oh wow!
Yeah, start off strong.
You started
Yeah.
off real strong.
Oh, here we go. Got to get that sound. I was forgetting.
Yeah,
Get
watch
that
this.
sound.
Get the little.
There we go.
That's incredible.
Beautiful. Again, we'll do a Josh finger. Not a
Yep,
junior
not
finger.
not a junior finger. Yep.
There we go.
This is it's almost kind of like a creamy caramel.
Yep. I'm definitely getting some spice.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that's good.
Yeah. So this again was I said in episode 3, the best part about bourbons is we impact the world.
Mhm.
This does come from it's set for at least 15 years in bourbon new oak,
Mhm.
meaning bourbon was in there first for the 8 years required to be called
Mhm.
bourbon. It's set in there for 8 years and then was moved. Normally they put sherry or some sort of fluid in there, sherry in it, ship it overseas, and then that's when you're able to drink it in there. So has our producer Andrew, have you tried it?
Yeah, I just tried it. It's that one it went down a lot smoother than the last episode we recorded.
There you go. There you go. I love this. I think this right here. This
Yeah.
is
Glenfiddich has very little mouth burn to it.
oh
Yeah.
if any.
Try to get some water here. So,
I think it's just smooth. It's just simple. As I said, on the nose, you got the caramel.
yeah.
The finish, there's really not. Maybe at the top of the tongue,
No.
or at the top of the mouth. Other than that, that's about it.
It's a space side, so you're gonna get some dried fruit in
Yep.
there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some cinnamon. There it is. Yeah, apple and cinnamon. I'm getting some cinnamon.
You said dried fruit. I didn't. Yeah, I would catch dried fruit. I wouldn't catch.
I've always, yeah. I don't catch like apple, like a raw apple.
No, I don't
but
either.
The dried fruit to me is always like the way it was always described to me was like the fruit cake,
Cake. Yep. Yep.
like that, like thickness of like, oh, there's some like,
Yep. I think right off. Yeah, you go right off the bat. Boy, that nose is just incredible, and even just the taste. As I said, you don't really catch anything on the tongue. It's just kind of at the top of the mouth. It goes down smooth. It's not like the American, bourbon of Buffalo Trace, that hits you on that tongue, and it.
yeah. The good part about this as well is also from a Scotch standpoint, especially a higher age Scotch. This is a 15. Most of those you're not going to find in the double digits. They're all going to be triple. And this one comes in, I think, around like 65, 70-ish.
Yep. Yep.
Which is a very, I know that's like a lot, but again, Scotch isn't meant to pour a whole glass and pound it.
Yeah, you're not gonna slam
It's
it.
meant like this could last you an hour, half hour. It's meant to sip and savor. If you're doing a 2-finger pour, that could last you almost a whole evening of just kind of sitting around.
Your 2-finger pour.
Yeah, a junior 2-finger pour would last
That's
you.
about-
It should, yeah, half a glass.
Woo, that's about the half a
Yeah.
glass right there. I'm
And,
like,
yeah. But a 2-finger pour should last you a good portion of time. If you're consuming it that fast, you're not really getting to savor and enjoy.
you're not.
And enjoy the spirit.
I like it neat. I mean, neat is good.
Yeah.
I don't even think you have to add any ice. I mean,
You don't. That's what for flavor profile wise. Let me see if I can get the apple that way. Still no apple, but that's all right. I highly recommend it. Again, you can go out almost any liquor store will have the Glenfiddich 15. If not, ask around.
yeah.
But it's a good one. Junior, thank you so much for sharing as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'll have to have you back on when I can open up my toy box and pull out some stuff I have in there.
Oh boy, well, I have quite a few on the toy box, so whenever you want to try something different, just
Come on
let me
back.
know. Man, I would love it.
Again, you can always find us on Facebook. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, comment below other spirits you want us to try. I am Josh Hartz, Junior Wakefield.
Appreciate it.
With
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna get it wrong again. Look, Texas Sweat.
It's Texas Sweat Fitness.
Nailed
Texas
it. Texas
Fitness.
Sweat
You got
Fitness.
it. You got it right
that
there.
time.
Man, this is great.
Yeah, and then feel free to find him there on Facebook. Follow him as well. Have a great day, and
Appreciate it.
please drink responsibly.